Hello and welcome to the episode of Healhtiness podcast. My name is Winona van Delft. I'm a health and mindset coach, entrepreneur, spaghetti and ice cream lover, and a cat mom. I love conversations that are more on a raw and deeper level. So today's special guest is Marieta Oslanec. She is from Slovakia but moved to the USA. She's an attorney, entrepreneur, coach, and writer of the book called Love is the Law. She helps people that want to move to the USA and start their own business with their paperwork and, start up their own business. So let's get to the interview. Okay, so welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate that you want to be on here. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where do you come from?
Sure. Well, I do so many different things, so I don't know where you want me to start.
Well, where you want to start? Where did it all happen?
Well, okay, so let's go back 13 years ago. So I'm originally from Slovakia, born and raised in Slovakia, and I decided to move to US with literally $700. Back then, I was a young graduate from law school, and I had this dream to basically become an attorney in the United States. And obviously, I had no idea how I'm going to make this happen. It was a big dream of mine. So literally, I just moved to US, to Chicago with just $700. So that's how it started.
Hey, wow, that's an adventure. How did you survive?
That's a good question. So when I first landed well, it wasn't my first time, to be honest. Like I would spend every summer in US during a holiday, during summertime, right? As what's it called? The work and travel program. And then I was influenced already by the culture, right? So this time I had temporary visa, 4-month visa, I think. And I obviously decided to work in a restaurant, even though I had my law degree from Europe. But I quickly realized there's nothing you can do with that law degree, so you got to go back to school. So surviving was definitely something I was dealing with, to be honest. And so I worked at the restaurant for about 4 months. Meanwhile, I was studying and preparing for law school. And then, long story short, once I was accepted by one of the very good schools in US, to my surprise, obviously that was something I really wanted to manifest, and it did happen. And then I had to take a huge loan to be able to finance the school. And once I finished the school, then I was studying to become a licensed attorney. I moved to New York City. And obviously I'm just giving you the short version here because otherwise we would stay here for hours. So while I was in New York City, I was preparing for the bar exam. I was looking for a job. I was looking for opportunity to find employer, law firm, or so on. I couldn't find any employment because I was basically, this was 2010, I was competing with market full of unemployed lawyers. Back then it was the economic crash. Yeah. And I couldn't find a visa sponsor. Like H-1B visa would be the typical visa in the US for that matter, and I couldn't find it because they would have to sponsor me and pay me this high salary, which nobody wanted to do back then, because obviously if they can hire US citizens, lawyers who don't need any visa, and pay them 10 times less, then they would have to pay me. So that was like super challenging for me. So once I passed the bar exam, became licensed attorney, think about it, like I couldn't find a way for me to stay in the country legally. So I had to leave, even though I already graduated. I was already licensed to practice law in the United States. I just couldn't figure out the way to stay there. And so what I did, I started my business. I started my company online first, and I started to serve mostly immigrants from different countries. And I was serving them with the same problem I had, right? And then I basically sort of reinvented my path, and I figured that if I start my own business, which by the way I had no idea how to run a business, how to start a business and so on, I figured that once I started my business, then I reinvested the money back to my company, became investor. And that's something I started to offer to other similar immigrants, investors, aspiring investors who specifically want to start companies in the United States, acquire each investor status, and eventually apply for a green card. So that was something I was doing for a couple of years. In between, I lost my company that I've co-founded with a person who was back then also my boyfriend. And so we co-founded the company. I lost the company 5 years ago, I think. The relationship collapsed. So it's been a lot. A lot of things happened on the way. These things were kind of forcing me to learn a lot about how to start your business, how to market your business, how to reinvent yourself. On the way, I was sort of forced to go within, and I use this term for people who are spiritual, because when you experience tremendous amount of pain, in my case it was, after you put so much effort and energy into building this American dream, suddenly it's collapsing for you. Then you have to reinvent yourself, started from scratch. Like when I lost that company, I started from scratch. I built a different brand, and then I was building myself up personally. So I did a lot of self-development work, inner work, meditation, healing work, and that led me to different path of sort of self-exploring, self-development journey. Eventually, I wrote this book, Love is the Law, and here we are.
Yeah, wow.
It's
a short version, but
it's a short version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Many things happen on the way, obviously.
Yeah, I can imagine. The journey. Any journey to self-love or starting a business or going to another country is huge. Like I moved to another country as well because I'm originally from the Netherlands, and I just moved within Europe, and that was already hard. So I can imagine, I cannot even imagine how hard it must have been for you, especially with the visa, going to the US. Even though you had your diploma, you've been an attorney, you still had to go through all of that again and go to school over there to be legit,
yes.
If I can say it like that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's been 13 years now. And obviously, as a result of this journey, I have my book now to inspire other people. And somebody asked me literally yesterday, because the book was just launched in Europe last week. And so somebody asked me literally yesterday, she read the book and she's like, I love it. And what other books inspired you to write this book? And my answer is none, like my life. Because once you are stretched to the point when and I feel like I personally was stretched in every single area of my life, whether it's a business or money or personal relationships, everything I was living on the edge, I call it, for years. And life taught me so many lessons, right? And then once you go through turbulent times in your life, it's almost like you find yourself. I think we find ourselves through challenges, and that's when you discover your power, right? And that's when you kind of get to know who you really are and what you want, what are your values. And as a result, like for me, my painful breakup and collapsing of my business and finding myself again starting from scratch helped me to sort of, that was the content of the book. Like kind of the inspiration came from that painful point. So it wasn't really like me just writing and getting inspiration from other books, like not at all.
No, I can totally understand, and I totally agree with you. Like I believe that you grow as a person on the times that everything is falling apart. Like I've seen it with myself as well, and with your story as well. Like when everything goes well, it's easy to just live your life and do whatever you want, but you learn and you grow in the times that it's bad. And even though you may experience a lot of pain or heartache or a business that collapsed, it's a thing that you can learn from. But you said that you've learned a lot of lessons. What is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned that no one taught you before and you had to figure it out all on your own?
That's a good question. Let me see. The biggest lesson.
I know, of course, you learn a lot of lessons. But
well, I always felt that when you put your energy somewhere, it's gonna create something beautiful. But the reason I left Slovakia was because I felt like the country setup of that country wasn't really allowing me to do that. So that was the main motivation. The bottom line is the biggest lesson I think is, I think what we just said, like pain is a teacher, is the greatest teacher. And every single challenge is the greatest teacher. And I think we can even apply it now in this crazy year, 2020, all these challenges that we are experiencing, COVID and so on. It's incredibly challenging for all of us. At the same time, I think that the challenge itself has a seed of success, seed of prosperity, seed of happiness and love and so on. And so I think that's probably the biggest challenge. The lesson is that every challenge is a blessing, but you have to look at it like that. And sometimes you don't see the blessing. You don't know yet what's the blessing. But like later when you look back, you will see it. Like for me specifically, I can say looking back, it was a blessing I couldn't find that job. It was a blessing I couldn't find that employer, because I started my business, right? I was forced to learn, and I was forced to reinvent myself and take control over my life, become independent as an attorney, but also as a woman, which is so important. So when my relationship collapsed, I started my path of self-love and self-discovery, which I would never do if I was in a relationship, codependent relationship that wasn't serving me, or I would never be so brave to really be on my own. And so that forced me to start that path of self-development, spiritual inner journey. So every single challenge I really faced was forcing me to go within and become better and learn and reinvent myself and pivot in business, and I've been doing it since, and even now this year.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. I like your whole journey. I'm a little bit speechless. Like it's so much to take in. I know I've gone through similar, but it's different when you hear it from someone else. Then it's beautiful. I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
And that you managed to love yourself outside your relationship. I think that's something that is really hard to do, because a lot of people think that once you're in a relationship or once you accomplish that, then I get to love myself. But it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and it's not like I wanted to. It's almost like, I really believe in higher power and in the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. It's always guiding us. It's there for us. We can tap into it if we allow ourselves to. And I understood over the years that every time I was in a relationship, obviously this relationship would be reflecting my own self-worth. Like always, I would have the same lesson over and over again. And I realized that, okay, I have to take responsibility. And maybe it's really somehow my mission here to discover this self-love, because some people don't have the chance to do that. You know what I mean? Like some people, they are still in those relationships that are not functioning codependent relationships, and they never step outside of the relationship to get opportunity, get to know themselves. But somehow in my life, I was never like given the opportunity, because I was always forced to end the relationship because I just wasn't happy there, and I always had this feeling that the relationship's supposed to be about love, true love and freedom. And that can only happen, I realized over the years, is that when you know who you are and when you love who you are. And I'm not saying I love myself perfectly, but I'm in a process of loving myself.
It's a process.
Exactly. And so it's almost like it's a path, right? But like many people don't get to live that path. But right now I feel like we are being challenged on so many levels, and whether you like it or not, it's like we are forced to, I think, go within and then find that self-love for yourself first, so then you can love other people and do great jobs aligned with your purpose, why you're here, create businesses around your heart. I mean, there's so many things that are connected, especially even now. So this global crisis is in a way blessing, but many people don't want to see it like that.
No, a lot of people just focus on the negative, but right. I believe all of us will come out of this a lot stronger. like you said.
And we already are.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at yourself now and then look at yourself in January, like, I'm sure that you are way, way better human being because of that experience.
Yeah, definitely. I have another question, because after all of this, you've become a stronger woman, right? And you know your strengths right now. So would in what way help your strengths help you to succeed in life? In what way?
Yeah. So, okay. So honestly, again, like when I look at my stories, like, and this main story of struggle, because it was constant struggle for years.
I can relate. Yeah.
And when I look at it, you know what? Like, I see the beauty in life in those challenging times. Why? Because we don't get to control where life is gonna take you. What do I mean by that is, in those moments of pain and challenge and struggle, we are forced to surrender. And that's usually when life will take you where you need to go. And that's how that's how not only you are finding your path and your purpose, but also you finding your strength. So for me, going through this challenging, and I'm still going through challenges, is actually helping me to become definitely more compassionate person, definitely even better coach. I started to coach people as a result, how to start a business, but also how to have the mindset, because I learned over the years that the mindset is so important. If you don't have the right
Absolutely.
mindset, you're not going to create anything. It doesn't matter what you're working on. So it's almost like I'm grateful for these challenges, because as a result, I am who I am today, and I can share my gifts with other people. Like, I would not be able to write my book and help other people with it and with my coaching if I haven't been through that challenge. So in other words, every single challenge I went through was shaping my character and me personally to become better version, so I can really give that gift to other people. And obviously you can monetize it later on, right? So it's almost like it's all connected, you know what I mean? Like, the coin has two sides. So I don't know if I answered it right, like, if you know what I mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
it's connected.
Yeah. Do you believe that we as humans, we deserve to be happy, or that we have to earn it? Do you think that we can truly be happy when we have to work for it, or do you believe that everybody just deserves to be happy?
It's a good question, and I think it's a matter of your belief, the way you believe. Like, what's your belief system about being happy? Like, do you deserve happiness? Do you deserve wealth? Do you deserve love? Do you deserve all of these things? But you know what, at the same time, so it is definitely mindset. Part of it is the mindset. You need to have the mindset that you deserve this, 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 this. Like, if you don't believe in that you deserve happiness, that you deserve love, money, wealth, success, it's not going to come to you. You're blocking it, obviously.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I also believe that certain things are like meant to be like difficult for some people, because, for example, in my case, like, if my journey was easy, like, I would not have the story to share. And the reason I have the story to share is because I overcame these challenges, and I'm overcoming constantly. It's like I'm trained to do that now.
Yeah.
And that's my gift to humanity. I can help others to go and overcome their challenges. And you know what I mean? Everybody has different gift. Like, it depends on person and their journey. But definitely I believe that part of it is the mindset work you have to do. But I'm still also surrendering to that universe and higher power in terms of believing that certain things are almost like predefined for you. No, it's not that I believe in completely in fate, but I can see that in my journey. I thought about it a lot, and I can see that, like,
sometimes you have to just go through something to put you into another direction, and that will give you what you want or what you desire.
Exactly. And you know what, even the way you look at happiness, like, what is happiness? I think it's really a choice to live your life in the most effective, happy way. But happy doesn't mean that you're not going to have any challenges, because I really think we are growing through that. When we have challenges, we are growing. It's like, otherwise, I mean, I know people who didn't really have that many challenges, and when you talk to these people, they're usually boring. They don't have compassion. They don't have understanding and the depth of understanding of reality, because they never studied. They never, you know what I mean? Like, shallow thinking and a perception of humanity. And then you talk to people who overcome so much, and they've been through so much pain, and these are like the most compassionate, kindest humans. So yeah, I think depends what's happiness, you know. I rather have my challenges and grow into better human and be able to feel life in full spectrum than be somebody who is just sort of, you know,
just in
easy
a box.
path. Easy path, easy box, beautiful box. I don't know, that's boring for my soul growth.
Yes, I understand. Like, these days I cannot just talk to anyone anymore. No small talk anymore, or people who just think one way and cannot imagine that I think differently. I got people get mad at me because I did something, and I'm like, but you cannot imagine what I'm thinking. You cannot understand why I'm doing this, because in your head I do it because of this or this, and there is no other way. You know? And it's
that's like the narrow-minded approach, and it's usually when it's the person is lacking compassion, empathy, and it's a result, I think, of limited journey.
Absolutely.
But the more open you are, it's probably connected with your journey, personal story.
Are you focusing the whole mindset also in your business? Are you implementing that as well with your clients to help them move forward?
100%. And this is like, I'm so big on mindset in business, because I see that. Like, I see many of my clients, and I also experience it myself. Like, you know, I would have perfect marketing when I started that first company, and everything would be perfect, like in terms of sales funnel and marketing and so on. But my inner blog would be there. Like, I'm not worthy of making this much money, for example. And that would show, like, people would feel it, and somehow I would not close people. So it is so important, because this part is so essential, especially like, I've been working with entrepreneurs now. It's almost 10 years actually.
Oh, wow.
But in different capacity. When I started to coach them, it's obviously more focused on mindset and creation of online business that is effective. But the bottom line is, I always talk about mindset. It's the foundation. And even with my legal clients, I talk about mindset, and sometimes they call me crazy. Like, what? You know, what are you talking about? But like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, once they realize, they think back at you.
Exactly. And so, yes, 100% the mindset in business is crucial. Like, you gotta have the mindset if you are entrepreneur or aspiring coach or consultant or aspiring entrepreneur. If you don't have the mindset, first of all, you will never start. Second of all, if you have any kind of challenge, you will just stop, because the mindset is not there. But if you have the mindset, no matter what, I will reinvent myself, like, I will carry on until it's done, then you will make it happen. And again, like, you will take the challenge as opportunity for growth, and you won't resist, and you go through it. If you stuck, if you feel like, oh, I cannot do that, oh, I'm not worthy of making this much, guess what? You will not make this much. Like, it's up to you. Like, what's your worth, you know? And again, see, it comes back to self-worth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love it. So what is your business at the moment? What are you working on? Like, are you coaching people? Are you more?
I do both. Like, I have my immigration-based company, which is serving foreign entrepreneurs. For example, like you, let's say you want to go to US one day and you want to start a business, you want to invest, it's usually under 100K. And the whole thing, legal process and setup, I would do as well. I would coach them on how to create the company and so on. So, and then move you legally to US, obviously. So that will be something that I'm doing still. And then I started to coach people, because I realized that many people some of my clients, they're lacking the mindset and they're lacking the skills, the marketing and sales skills. They have no idea how to run a business. Once they are in US, they're stuck. They don't know how to grow their business. And I personally learned so much over the years. I took so many courses, so many programs. you know what I'm talking about. And so I started to implement those things, and everything I implemented, I'm basically teaching. But to be honest, it's a combination of mindset, spiritual, energy, and business. And I call it 5D entrepreneurship. So 5D means fifth dimension. And obviously, I don't talk about the spiritual component, because usually business owners, entrepreneurs, they see you as crazy. But once we dive deeper, then I disclose it, and now they understand it and they are learning it, and usually they love it. So I've been coaching entrepreneurs, and it's going great. And then recently I launched a book in Europe. The book was launched first time last year in US, and now in Europe. And we'll see where that takes me. I don't know. Probably some retreats, maybe like 5D entrepreneurship retreats. I could sense that happening maybe in a year or two.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like that's my goal, actually. I'm planning on something like that for next year. So
there you go.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I've been following your journey as well with your book. It's amazing. I'm so happy for you that you're doing so well.
Thank you. Well, the book, the book, like I said, it was a result of the pain, and it was not necessarily something I wanted to write, to be honest. I was hiding the book for 5 years.
Oh, really? That's a long time.
Well, first I wrote it back in 2014, and it came as a stream of consciousness. Like I started to meditate and I opened up to that guidance. And then one day I just had like download of information that it felt like I need to type it. So it was just coming through. And then after I finished the first draft, I felt that I needed to sort of start living it. Like I can't just publish something that I'm not necessarily living by. So it would feel like fake, hypocrite, So I was like, you know what, let me just start living my life based on these principles, and let's see how it goes. And so I did. And then I traveled the world a little bit, and I was kind of implementing whatever my guide was telling me when I was typing it. And then I would just insert these stories into a book so people can relate. And then it was 2019, March 2019, I did a retreat, a meditation silence retreat, where it was like I got a download message, you have to share the book, it's time. And I didn't want to, because think about it, like my life was okay. Like, my life was okay. I had this first business that was doing well, and I didn't really want to share my vulnerable story with the world. I didn't want to my clients think of me like I'm this spiritual warrior who is a little unconventional, crazy a little bit, maybe. I didn't really want to put it out there. And that's something that I think many people are feeling when they're starting new project. They don't want to step outside of that box, because what if people will judge me? So it took me a while to honestly overcome that fear. And then I was like, you know what, that's not that important what other people think. What's important is that calling you have in your heart. And it was very strong for me. So I decided to just follow it, and just follow the calling and just do
Beautiful.
it. And
just
here
do
we
it.
are.
Yeah, cool. So where can people find your book if they want to read it?
So they can find it, simply go to loveisthelaw.com. And you can also check it at marietaoslanec.com. And if you follow me on social media, obviously I'm promoting it, so you'll find it for sure.
Okay,
and
so
it's everywhere. It's like if you can order it. I think, for example, for you, I think you can order it on Amazon. I think, or sometimes in different countries have different channels. I don't even know how they're promoting books, but it's there.
Okay, cool. So they can find you on Instagram, Facebook, your website, and everything.
And my YouTube. I started a YouTube channel this year under my name, and I'm adding weekly content basically and it's a combination actually of mindset, entrepreneurship, and consciousness, which is like crazy combination. Maybe not so crazy for us.
not so crazy
not so crazy for us,
people.
but for other people, like either you are in like spirituality, law of attraction, or you are in entrepreneurship. But I'm like, I want to be both. Like I am who I am, and I'm not gonna limit myself. So it's like a cutting edge. Like I'm doing both worlds, merging them. That's kind of what I'm doing with this coaching anyway. So if people, if they want something like that, then it's there.
Okay, cool. I'll leave everything in the description so everybody can just look you up and order your book and connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this conversation. I've learned a lot about you, and I just agree with everything, with the whole mindset, of course. And it was a really great start.
You're so welcome. I'm happy to be here, and you're doing great work yourself. So we are definitely aligned, and I hope this podcast will explode and people will love these episodes, because I think it's so needed, especially now. I feel like world needs somebody like you, and people who are really tapping into that inner self and sharing the message, empowering others, inspiring and motivating. Like we need this energy so much. So thanks for doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. It makes me blush. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.